Alright, so for today's decode, we got the 1984 movies. One came out, I'll be talking about, came out in 1956, and then one came out in 1994 in the UK, and in 1995 in the US. Did I say 1995? I meant 1985. Anyways, and we're also going to get into Winston Churchill, who was a Mason, and notice I bolded church, in his last name, just like I bolded, uh, a related post is, the decode I did on the death of Frank Church. So, these are some posts to check out, before or after. I would definitely check them out sometime. The original post I did on George Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm in connection to the Jesuits / Catholic Church. It was a crappier decode because, I was not good at decoding when I did that, or not as good as I am now. And like I said, this decode that I did on the death of Frank Church and more. So, alright, let's just get into this one though. So the main character in 1984 is named after Winston Churchill, because you have the main character is named Winston in the 1984 book and movies. So the movie came out in the USA 58 days after Winston Churchill's birthday. This is the one that came out in 1985, I think. So yeah, and Freemasonry equals 58. Like I said, Winston Churchill was a Mason. Secret Society equals 58. London, England equals 58. Churchill, the Prime Minister of the UK, and all events in the book 1984 take place in a fictional London in the future. And the phrase Big Brother equals 58. This is the name of the symbol of control in 1984. Because the book and the movies are about, a dystopian age in the future, totalitarian society, whatever you want to call it. John Vincent Hurt is the actor who played Winston in 1984. The one in, the movie that came out in 1984 and 1985. Like I said, just depending if you're talking about the release date of the UK or in the US. Anyways, his name equals, John Vincent Hurt. Hurt is his full name. That name equals 201. Of course, Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of the UK, the phrase the Prime Minister equals 201. Order of Illuminati equals 201. The Jesuit Order equals 201, and the Freemasonic Order equals 201. Like I said, Churchill was a Mason. This all goes back to the Jesuits, of course, the Catholic Church. But in Jewish gematria, Winston is a name equating to 1229. George Orwell, author of 1984. George Orwell equals, that was his pen name, by the way. So you see how they forged this as George Orwell equals 1229 as well. And why is this significant? Because 1229 is the 201st prime number. None of this is an accident. And who's behind the people that run the UK, the British royalty, right? Like the Queen, blah blah blah. See what British royalty equals? 201 and 177. And you see the equals both those numbers. And New World Order, you hear this term, you'll hear globalists are behind the New World Order. Globalists. Look what New World Order equals 177 as well. It's the Jesuits behind the New World Order. They're the head of it. I'm sure British royalty truly answers to them, the Jesuits. So to continue, Winston Churchill died a span of 56 days after his birthday. Society of Jesus equals 56. All-Seeing Eye equals 56. Freemasons equals 56. And in 1956, the British movie 1984 released. And the movie 1984 that released in the US, it actually released in 1985. Like I said, the UK released it in 1984, of course. But it released in the US on 3/22, March 22nd. Like 322, the big number of Skull and Bones, a secret society that was founded 56 years after the Illuminati was founded, and the U.S. Gained quote-unquote independence from who? The U.K. Exactly. Which is a joke. And, Skull and Bones is rumored, it's been said to be a branch of the Illuminati. And I've even seen people say specifically the American branch of the Illuminati. John Hurt, remember the actor that played Winston in 1984 movies that came out in 1984 and 1985, he died 56 days before the anniversary of the movie's release in the USA, and the movie released in the UK a span of 263 days after his birthday. 263 is the 56th prime number. The movie released in the UK 56 days after the Society of Jesus' birthday. The 1956 British movie 1984 released 68 days after what would have been Orwell's birthday if he was still alive. Catholicism equals 68, and Catholic means universal. So think about how this relates to the plan of the One World Order. And that phrase, One World Order equals 68. Of course, like I said, Jesuits are behind that New World Order. And the book, 1984, was published on 6/8. And this date was 68 days before the Society of Jesus' birthday. Furthermore, 1984 describes a surveillance state. Think about, the Jesuit-controlled CIA, which I and others have proved that it is. But CIA, an acronym equating to 68, and spies equals 68. Think about Big Brother is watching you. That's the phrase, a phrase repeated in 1984. Winston Churchill died 119 days after the Jesuit order's birthday. All-Seeing Eye equals 119 and Vatican equals 119. Like I said, Winston CHURCHill. He died also exactly 35 weeks before the Pope's birthday. His last name, Churchill, equals 149. This is the 35th prime number. That's why that's important. John Hurt died 35 weeks before the Jesuit order's birthday. Seeing Eye equals 149. Again, the 35th prime number. Eye equals 35. Watched equals 35. Holy See equals 35. And the Holy See is what the jurisdiction of the Pope is called. Oculus equals 35. This is the Latin word for eye. Catholic equals 35. Jesuitism equals 35. Soul equals 35. This is the Spanish word for sun, which has been said to be the eye of God. The name of an Egyptian god, sun god, I may add, is Ra. Ra equals 35, and his right eye symbolizes the sun. And you know, the all-seeing eye isn't Ra's son Horus, and the all-seeing eye has also been called the Eye of Horus. Eye of Horus equals 56 as well, going back to those connections. Anyways, the Illuminati was created by a Jesuit 149 days before the Jesuit order's birthday. Again, 149 is the 35th prime number. The all-seeing eye was put on the back of the US $1 bill in 1935. And what does Genesis 3:5 state? For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. It's the New International Version. So yeah, like I said, check these out. You can come to this post. I'll leave the blog link. Click them. Or there's videos on them too. But yeah, that is all I had to say. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Peace.